July the 12th, 2024. Looking at Babe Ruth's sidekick, Lou Gehrig. His stats and his box scores from 1923 to 1939. This video, 1932 season, how did he do? Well, 1931, he just blows everything out of the water as far as stats. 163 runs scored, 185 RBIs, 46 homers, and a .341 batting average, along with 211 hits. What will he do in 1932? Well, he's playing every day. He's got the consecutive game streak going. He gets 598 at-bats and gets 138 runs scored. This, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th year in a row over 100 runs scored. He gets 208 hits. He hits 34 homers, 151 RBI. So he's down from the 185 the previous year, but he gets 151 more. 330 RBIs in 2 years. Again, he's averaging a RBI per game played almost. Bats .349. So he upped his average from the previous year. He was at .341. .349 average. Like I said, 138 runs scored, 151 RBIs, 34 homers, 9 triples, 42 doubles, 123 singles, 621 slugging, 451 on base, 108 walks, 370 total bases, 4 stolen bases. Has a hitting streak of 14 games, which is his high, 66 multi-hit games, 3 two-homer games, but here's the significant thing that happened in 1932. He had a 4-homer game. When did he do that? He came to the ballpark on June 3rd, 1932. Had 6 at-bats, 4 runs scored, 4 hits, 6 RBIs, 4 homers in the game. I heard that in one of his at-bats in this game, he hit a deep ball to left center, or was it right center? One of those two. That could have gone out if it was a shorter ballpark. I think he hit it about 380, 400 feet, but it went to left center, right center, the deepest part of the park. If he had just pulled it a little bit more either way, or if he had pulled it to right, it would have gone out. That would have been 5 homers in one game. Can you imagine a guy in the big leagues hitting 5 homers in one game? Lou Gehrig came close, probably the closest. That one of those at-bats, he crushed the ball. And if it had gone anywhere else in the park, it would have been gone. But he hit it to a deep part of the park, and it was caught. Ooh! So he has 1 4-homer game, something that Babe Ruth did not do. 42 2-hit games, 23 hit games, 2 4-hit games, 35 2-run scored games, 4 3-run scored games, 1 4-run scored game, 20 2-runs batted in games, 13 3-runs batted in games, 1 4-runs batted in game. He had 3 5-runs batted in games. He had a 6 RBI game, one. And he had an 8 RBI game. And that was the 3rd time he had 8 RBIs in one game. When did he do it? If you look at the box score, let's see if we can find it. Here it is, September 9th. 6 at-bats, 2 runs scored, 2 hits, 8 RBIs. Homer and a double in that game. Must have cleared the bases with his hits both times. 1932 season. Talk about a durable player playing every day. Talk about consistency. Like I mentioned, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th year in a row over 100 runs scored. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, his 5th 200 hit game, 200 hit season. Not game, but a season. I'll slow down a little bit. This is his 4th season with over 150 RBIs. And 7th season in a row over 300. And listen to this: 7. 7th season, 300 or more total bases. 1932 season, a success for Lou Gehrig, one of the greatest players of all time. If you look closely at the box scores, look closely at the season, compare it with other seasons. I only played 17 years. He plays 20 years. His numbers are even greater. The numbers are great already, 17 years. Give him another 3 years. He's in the top 3, 4, or 5 greatest of all time. To me, he's the 3rd greatest player of all time, behind Babe Ruth, number 1, and Ty Cobb, number 2. Because I'm looking at the accomplishments in the box scores. Can't find anything else similar. You say Henry Aaron, Willie Mays. You say Roger Hornsby, Ted Williams. Look at Lou Gehrig more carefully. He had 150 runs batted in. You know how many seasons? 150 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 150 or more RBIs in a season. He had 13 seasons in a row over 100 RBIs. And he had 13 seasons in a row over 100 runs scored. His career batting average, 340. He also is the only player with 5 seasons over 400 total bases. He beat Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth had 2 of them, or 2 or 3. I'd have to look at that closely. You want me to look? How many seasons did Babe Ruth have over 400 total bases? I think it's 3. 1, 2. No, Babe Ruth only had 2 seasons over 400 total bases. Lou Gehrig had 5. How about Ted Williams, you may ask? Total bases, right? Teddy ball game. Did you know that Ted Williams never had a season with over 400 total bases? You know who did, though? Rogers Hornsby. Let's look at him. Rogers Hornsby. I know he had some pretty good years. Yeah, he had 2 seasons, 400 or more total base. He had a 450 one year. It's pretty good. Of course, the record. What's the record? What is the record for total bases in one season by a player? Well, you go to Baseball Reference and you put in career total bases leaders. Click it on Baseball Reference. Who holds the record? Aaron has the most career, but I'm talking about a season. You want to know for the season? Let's see. Single season. Got it. Babe Ruth had 457 total bases in one year. That's a record. Roger Hornsby is number 2 at 450. Lou Gehrig, 447. Chuck Klein had a 445. Jimmy Fox had a 438. Stan Musial, 429. Barry Bonds had a 400. So did Larry Walker, Joe Medwick, Jim Rice, Babe Herman, Luis Gonzalez, Stan Musial. They all had 400 total bases in one season, but how about Lou Gehrig 5 times? 400 or more total bases. I can't emphasize that enough. Aaron had 1. Let's see, I'm looking down the list to see if anybody had multiple ones. Jimmy Fox had a couple. Joe DiMaggio, looks like just 1 for him. Hornsby had the 2. Babe Ruth had 2. Sammy Sosa had 1. Sammy Sosa had 2 of them. Very hard to get 400 total bases in 1 year, and yet Lou Gehrig stands out. All right, let's see. We're done with 1932. Our next video, 1933 season for Lou Gehrig. I am out.